Hey everybody, Motorpoet59 here. Well, things have changed since yesterday with respect to the people I know who were facing termination if they hadn't started their vaccinations by today. Actually, I should say by tomorrow. Today is November 9th. Yesterday, Monday, November 8th was the day that they were supposed to have started their vaccinations. That has been pushed back to January 4th. It looks like the administration may be kicking this can down the road. I'm surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised. As I said in my other video, the last one or the one before that concerning this, I expected them to double down, and they may still do that in the future. But one of the other things I said is that I hoped that time would elapse to give people time to think about how this was going to affect the economy, how this was going to affect the citizens that this administration was elected to represent, not just the citizens that elected them to represent them. When you are the president, when you are in the legislative branch, when you are in the executive branch, when you are in the judicial branch, your job is to serve every citizen in the United States, not just those who agree with you. And I don't know, maybe that's what's starting to happen. I hope so. I hope that this silliness goes away. I hope that people are no longer threatened with their jobs. That when you take something away from someone until they do what it is you want them to do, that is not a choice. And when this all started, that's one of the things that President Biden kept saying. People have a choice to make. Yeah, they did. They had the choice of being bullied by the government or standing up for their rights as an American citizen and forfeiting their jobs, possibly their livelihoods. Who knows? It could cost families. It would certainly cost the economy. When I spoke with my friend this morning, we went and had coffee together. He said that the latest estimate at Union Pacific is 44% of their workforce that's not going to get vaccinated. And they can hire all the people they want. What did I say before? 25%. That's bad enough. If they were to lose 44% of their workforce at the click of a hand on a clock, it would devastate the way Union Pacific does business. It would absolutely wipe it out. There's no way that they would be able to keep things functioning. They could take all the management people they wanted and force them into the union jobs, which they can do in the event of an emergency. They can make company men go do union jobs if there aren't enough union guys to do it. They've done it before. They've done it during strikes, and they've done it during walkouts. They would certainly be able to do it here. And the unions haven't really gotten involved much anyway, especially the Brotherhood of Railroad Signalmen as the last I was told. So they wouldn't do anything. They could piss and moan if they wanted to and file claims and complaints and all, but it wouldn't make any difference. The railroad would do whatever they had to do to stay in business. But even with all that going on, they would never be able to keep up with what's going on. And many of these managers haven't done their field jobs in decades. And they may not have been any good at it to begin with, because people who suck at their jobs often get promoted because since they know they suck at their job, a lot of them are kiss asses. And kiss asses almost always get promoted. And they get the dangerous people out of the field by promoting them. And that's another rant, sorry. There's no way that any company would be able to function losing almost half of its workforce just like that. Especially over something that when they look at it legally, when they really start to look at it, over something they really don't have to do. They do not have to comply with this. OSHA is not an elected, they represent no one. You can't take people who don't represent somebody by election, who haven't been elected to represent somebody, and have those people decide the fate of the people who elected their representatives. If we're going to do that, why elect representatives? Let's just have a bunch of administrations who throw stuff out there willy-nilly and bang people over the head with hammers and hope they comply. We don't have to listen to OSHA. We don't have to listen to the EPA. We don't have to do any of this. And we don't have to pay any fines. These companies can tell the government, no, we're not going to pay these fines. We're going to take this to the Supreme Court. If the Supreme Court decides that we were in the wrong by trying to keep American citizens working and trying to keep the American economy floating, then so be it. We'll do it. We'll shut the doors and you guys can figure out how to do this yourselves. But hopefully cooler heads are starting to prevail. Hopefully people with common sense are starting to get their 2 cents in worth. We have to stop listening to these non-elected, to these appointed, they're not representatives. These people are in these appointed jobs who whip out these rules and these procedures and these mandates that they really don't have the authority to do. They don't have the authority to exert any kind of control over their fellow American citizens. They're not elected representatives. And I really hope that the companies start to grab hold of this. I hope the administration starts to realize that if this were to go to the Supreme Court, chances are they would lose. I think even if the court were liberal, I don't know, what am I saying? Liberals, they don't care about what's right and what's wrong. But as the Supreme Court stands right now, or sits, if you will, I don't think that the government would win these cases. And every day more are being brought against the administration. And OSHA is going to start getting involved in these. I don't know who all is being named right now in these lawsuits. Probably all of them. You can bet that they're starting to pay attention. Moving this out a couple of months is proof positive of that. Hopefully, worst case scenario, they'll just keep kicking it down the road. And then hopefully the numbers will start to go up. So like I've said all along, if you stop trying to force people to do this, a lot of people will go ahead and do it. Because I know many, many people, the only reason they're not doing it is because they think they're being forced to. They are being forced to. It's not that they think they are being forced to do it. A lot of these people have no issues with the vaccine itself. They have an issue with the government overreaching its boundaries again. And I think that if that were to stop, the vaccination numbers would probably go up. You're always going to have your anti-vaxxers. You're going to have your people who aren't going to do it because it's the Democrats in office, the same people who would do it if Trump were in office. But then we'd have the same thing on the Democrat side. It would be exactly the same. You'd have the same number of people over there saying, I'm not doing it because it's Trump's idea. Trump would never have forced this. He would never bullied anyone into doing it. But they wouldn't be doing it anyway because they're hypocrites. That's the way they work. But anyway, so I don't know. See you on January 4th where this is, hopefully. Like I said, worst case, they kick it down the road a little further, and hopefully numbers will come up, things will settle down, and people will be able to finish out their careers. They'll be able to feed their families, and they won't have to get crazy with stress. It has to be a terrible thing for these people. I'm so glad I retired when I did. But anyway, what do you think about all this? You think they're just going to kick the can down the road? You think they're going to get rid of the mandate? You think they're going to jump back on it? Let me know in the comments below. Shoot me an email at motopoet59@gmail.com. Like, share, subscribe. Click on the bell if you want to be notified of future content. And we'll see you all later. I'm kind of happy about this. Can't you tell?